Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. After the Empire was defeated in the original trilogy, basically a part of it stayed together and rebranded as the First Order. So the movie starts with Poe Dameron, a pilot in the Resistance. He gets a USB drive from this old guy, but the bad guys come, so he has to, surprise, hide it in his droid. The new bad guy is Kylo Ren, and he wears a sweet mask just like Vader did, and he's super powerful, stops the blaster bolt in midair. Whoa! They take Poe prisoner and order the stormtroopers to shoot all the civilians, but this one stormtrooper, he doesn't want to do it. His name is Finn. What's up? Now meet Rey. She's a trash scavenger down on desert planet, not Tatooine from the originals, but a new one called Jakku. She's got a tough life, trading in junk for portions of little Insta-bread and counting down the days since her family abandoned her on this rock. One day, she runs into Poe's droid, BB-8. He beeps and boops just like R2-D2. He's super cute, and these two become insta-best friends. Kylo Ren is interrogating Poe with his mind-reading powers, but Finn comes to rescue him, so they jack a TIE fighter and fly off, but they do get shot down. They crash land on Jakku. Finn's okay, but then the sinking sands pulls the ship down and Poe is definitely dead. He makes it to this settlement where BB-8 recognizes Poe's jacket that he's wearing. So Rey knocks him out, but he's like, hey, no, I'm a friend of Poe's. I helped him escape. She's like, wait, you're with the Resistance? And he's like, the Resistance? Yes, that's me. Big deal in the Resistance. Just then bad guys show up, so they have to run on out of there. They're gonna steal the ship, but it's exploded, so they're gonna take this one instead. Oh, it's the Millennium Falcon. What? Rey's never flown a ship before, but she just kind of wings it, and they have a sweet ship chase through the dunes, and then they bust on out of there. This random officer gives the bad news to Kylo Ren. Back in the day, Vader would have choked you out, but apparently HR put a stop to that. Kylo just sort of, breaks things with his lightsaber. Finn and Rey on the Millennium Falcon, but they get picked up by the ship. Oh snap, it's Han Solo and Chewbacca, what? He's like, okay, who are you kids and what are you doing on my ship? And they're like, oh, legendary Han Solo, you've got to help us get this droid to the Resistance. But first, he's accosted by a couple of space gangs that he owes money to, so the kids try to help him out, but they accidentally open the doors where these tentacle monsters exist, so that causes a distraction. They get on the Falcon and bust out of there. Now, what's on BB-8's USB drive? It's a partial map to Luke Skywalker. Wait, what happened to Luke? Well, yeah, he was training a new Jedi Order, but one of the kids went really bad, killed everyone, so Luke got depressed and went into hiding. So Han's gonna bring him to the Resistance, but first they stop off at a bar where they meet Maz Kanata. In my headcanon, Yoda's girlfriend. So they're making a plan, but Rey wanders down to the basement where she finds in this box an old lightsaber. What? She picks it up, it gives her visions, and the Force is awakened within her. Maz is like, yeah, that's Luke Skywalker's old lightsaber, the blue one that he dropped down in Cloud World. Why do I have it? I don't know, but it's yours now, Rey. Rey's like, nah, I don't want none of this Force stuff. I'm out of here. But just then the bad guys show up, so she and BB-8 run off into the woods, and Maz is like, hey, Finn, use this lightsaber, defend us. So Finn fights the best character in the movie, this random badass stormtrooper who knocks him around with his stick thing. Unfortunately, he gets shot. But then it's the good guys, led by Poe Dameron. He survived. He's a real good pilot, so he saves the day. Unfortunately, Rey is in the woods with Kylo Ren. He could just freeze her, and he reads her mind. He's like, oh, you've seen the map. I don't need the droid anymore. I'll just, pull it out of your mind. So the bad guys pull out, and Han meets up with Princess Leia, his old love. C-3PO's there too, by the way. Han and Leia have been estranged for years because the kid Luke was training that went bad, it was their son, Ben Solo, none other than Kylo Ren. So Kylo's got this hero worship thing for Darth Vader, his maternal grandfather, and his master is the new Emperor, Supreme Leader Snoke. He's not a giant, this is just a hologram, but he is an ugly dude. The First Order's built a bigger, badder Death Star called Starkiller Base because it literally sucks the energy from a nearby star to power it. They have a fun little Nazi rally, and Bill Weasley is like, fire the missiles! So the Death Star could blow up an entire planet. Starkiller Base can blow up 5 planets at once, whoa! So Kylo's hanging out with Rey. He takes off his mask. He's not scarred or anything. He's like, I don't need that to live. It just makes me look cool. So he's doing his mind probe, but apparently she's been trained in occlumency with Professor Snape, so she's able to keep him out. After he leaves, she's like, hey, Stormtrooper, come here. I'm gonna Jedi mind trick you. You will release me. There's no way that's gonna work, but it actually works. Wow, okay, good for her. So the rebellion's analyzing the new Death Star, and Han's like, let me guess, there's one place we can hit that will cause a chain reaction and destroy the entire thing? Finn's like, oh, actually there is. Yeah, we can do it right here, but we have to get on the planet to disable the shields. Han and Chewie volunteer. They do a lightspeed crash land on the surface, which is covered in snow, but turns out Finn doesn't know how to disable the shields. He worked in sanitation. What? He's like, don't worry about it. We'll use the Force. Han's like, that's not how the Force works. So they sneak in there and they capture Captain Phasma. She was Finn's commanding officer, and she's played by Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones. They make her disable the shields, and Han's like, hey, for such a cool looking character, she has a really small part. Finn's like, don't worry, she'll have a bigger part in the sequels. So with the shields down, the rebellion sends in their fighter pilots. Unfortunately, there's no hole this time that leads straight to the reactor. It's covered by a thick sheet of metal. The gang runs into Rey, and they're going to escape, but they realize, oh, we gotta get back down there and help blow up the metal. So they sneakily plant some bombs, but Kylo Ren shows up. Han's like, Kylo, I am your father. And he's like, yeah, I know, Dad. That's not a mystery this time. So he's like, son, come back to the light side. And Kylo's like, maybe. Just kidding. Stabbed. What? Han Solo. No. Oh, he's stabbed and definitely dead. Chewbacca is pissed, so he shoots Kylo and blows that place up. Rey and Finn are running through the snow, but Kylo gets out there ahead of him. Rey gets knocked out immediately, so it's time for Finn lightsaber battle again. Unfortunately, he has had no formal training and he gets disarmed and then cut all up the back. Ouch! So Kylo wants that lightsaber because remember, it wasn't just Luke's, it was originally Anakin's, Darth Vader. But the lightsaber passes him because it chose Rey. Oh yeah! So it's time for a lightsaber battle. Phew, phew, phew. Yeah, through the trees. Kylo Ren's like gonna win, but Rey channels the Force and then she lets him have it. Boom! Gives him a nice facial scar to go with that mask. Meanwhile, the X-Wings are doing their thing. The bombs blew up in a hole, so Poe flies in there, shoots the place up and gets out. Boom! Explosion, the entire planet, chain reaction. A crevice opens up, separating Rey and Kylo, conveniently relieving her of the moral dilemma of whether to kill him or let him live. Rey finds Finn, who is injured but alive, and Chewbacca picks him up, they fly on out of there, and the day is saved! I mean, except Han Solo died, super sad. Now, R2-D2 has been powered down ever since Luke disappeared, but BB-8 comes up, he's like, hey, wake up, you lazy bones! You have the other part of the map to how to find Luke Skywalker. So Rey says goodbye to Finn, who is in a coma. They're sending her to find Luke because, you know, she's the one with Force powers. She and Chewie take the Millennium Falcon, vroom, light speed down to Luke's planet, which is like a cool, watery world. And at the top of the hill, she finds the Last Jedi, an old Luke Skywalker. She's like, hey man, I think you dropped this about 30 years ago. And that's how The Force Awakens comes to an end.